Welcome, family. I am so happy to be here. I'm happy that y'all are here. My name is Nigel Matthews. I go by Naj. You can call me either or, whichever the spirit leads you. But welcome to Brave Conversations with Brave. I'm here with one of the greatest human beings I've ever known, my brother in
Wow.
Christ, Anthony King, aka the one and only son of Tony.
How's it going, guys?
And yeah, man, we're just here to just talk to y'all. I know it's been a while
Yeah,
since we've been pretty much out and about, since
yeah,
like Juneteenth last year.
yeah,
And so we just really wanted to make sure that we came back to say hello,
yeah,
and to let you guys know where we are as individuals, where the
yeah,
organization is.
yeah,
And yeah, just wanting to just, I don't know, just update you guys on life and what life has been,
yeah.
how things are going with us and what
Uh-huh.
life means to us now, especially just with this new space, this mental space, the
Yeah.
spiritual space that we're in. So yeah, we just really wanted to come back and catch up with you all. So
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know, where do you want to start?
Yeah, no, thank you for that introduction. Like Nigel said, we just want to thank you guys for tuning in today. And welcome to our Brave Conversation podcast where we want to have brave conversations. And I know there's a lot of taboo subjects and taboo conversations, but we've just experienced for the past 5 years this office space being a place where
Mm-hmm.
we had the freedom, the comfortability, and even the vulnerability to have conversations that we probably wouldn't have elsewhere. And so we wanted to invite you all into our office with this. And so, yeah. So where would you say we've been at, Nige? I know, just looking over the past 5 years, I'm just so grateful at where we started. I'm
Yeah.
so grateful of how we progressed.
Mm-hmm.
And even where we're at now. And I'm excited about where we're going in the future.
Yeah.
And so, but just, just to kind of catch our viewers up, I don't know when some of you, started following us. You may be new, you may be one of the OG followers, but,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, you
Shout outs
know,
to y'all, the OG
yeah,
followers.
shout out to the OG followers and the new followers. We're
Yeah.
not mad. We're happy you're here. And like I said, we're gonna just this next year be much more engaging. Just socially, just posting more. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I feel like we haven't really been just tapped in all the way like we have been in previous times. And I don't know if it's because of the culture or what, but and I know we've had just some organization turnover, and we've just developed a lot just in personally and
Yeah.
as an organization, but we just want to just and be honest and say, we know we haven't been as communicative
Yeah.
whatever word that is, but we're excited about the things that are to come. And so, yeah, but where did we start? Where did Brave start? um and how did we get here now? What would you say? I have a lot of thoughts, but I'm curious to because you were at our protest that we started, but after that you sort of kind of like went on your own for a little minute before you kind of came back. And
Yeah.
so just even in your eyes, where did we start?
Yeah, I mean, well, I know the first protest that I went to, and so it was back in 2020. So this is when the George Floyd and Breonna
Mm-hmm.
Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery, like this is when all of that was happening. And so there was just this racial uproar that was going on, and
Mm-hmm.
the emotions were high. It was a lot of tension during that time, during that
Mm-hmm.
season, really. And so I remember there was just protests just going all around in the immediate area. And I was in Detroit, and then I was in Toledo the day before
Mm-hmm.
the protest that was here in Bowling Green. And I remember seeing you, and I remember seeing like a couple of other faces who would
Mm-hmm.
then be a part of Brave.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Brave was like a thing yet. I think it was
Yeah.
just a bunch of community people, like people in the community that wanted to come together for the cause.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I showed up and I actually spoke at that protest in particular. And then maybe like a few months goes by or something.
Yeah.
So now we're getting like into early fall. And
Mm-hmm.
I ended up I have a mutual friend, and so she let me know about just someone that was pretty much involved doing like community advocacy, and that's what I wanted to do. And then that's when I came into this office, actually this office space. I think y'all just got the office space. And then it was like, okay, so this is Brave and this is what we're doing. And this is, I guess this is like a very new organization and stuff. And then from there, I mean, I just been here, since then, just one of the OG members, one of the founding members, because we weren't even like a 501c3 yet.
Yeah, we weren't even 501c3
Yeah,
yet.
that was like, I think it was like not until maybe like winter or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so really, the startup was really just a call to action, right?
Yeah.
It was like, you know what? It's a bunch of people who want to come together because clearly there's a need for our voices to be heard. There's a need for some type of progression. And, we really just had that, we had a fire in us. And so that's really where it started. Wanting to make sure that we were just combating oppression and just disparities and discrimination. And so our heart was always there. And then over time, we went through, different transformations, I would think, different members coming in and out, people following career paths and stuff. And BG is one of those transient type of cities because of the college. So, not everyone is going to stick around. Like once they graduate, it's like, okay, well, I did what I need to do here, which is cool. And we understand that. And so shout outs to all the OG members, we love you. And thanks for your services when you were here. And so then, I think really what happened was we had direction, but there wasn't divinity. And I think that it took for us as individuals. So, myself and you, and then our other lovely co-host who y'all will meet in the next couple of episodes probably is his lovely wife, my sister in Christ, Miss Crystal King. So, hey, Crystal. And pretty much like, I kind of lost my train of thought, I'm not gonna lie, which we happen to do quite a bit. So y'all will get used to this, by the way. Like we're like, ooh, squirrel, and then, or we'll,
No, you're good. You were just talking about just our conception and just, what, honestly, what our progression has been. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all, just to echo what you were saying, it has been a journey.
It has.
I mean, none of us have a background in activism and nonprofit. I mean, Brave is a 501c3, nonprofit, but honestly, none of us are truly qualified to do this, to be here. Like I said, to be in the position we are in now, like it is honestly a blessing. And when we look back over the past 5 years, coming up on 6 years, like this Juneteenth will be 6 years,
Wow.
It has been just a wonderful opportunity that we've been given to, just try to bring justice into the community, really, and to, I guess I'll just go and just share a little bit, just my experience from just the beginning, and so like you said, it started with like this massive protest, which by the way, I had no idea it was gonna turn into a massive protest. Like honestly, when I had the idea of the protest, like I thought it was just gonna be me and maybe 20, max 30 friends of mine standing on the four corners of Rooster Green, but it was not that at all.
It was like
it was not that at all.
It was like the whole town.
And I remember myself getting so, because you said you went to the Detroit ones in Toledo. I remember myself getting so nervous like the day before the protest, because like when I put out like on Facebook, like, hey guys, I'm just trying to gather with some friends and kind of stand up for justice in our community, it literally like it went not viral, but it went viral.
Or spread,
like it was like it was shared by hundreds of people. Like people were commenting, like people were sharing it to like their friends, their family. Like it was spreading even amongst churches. And for me, like I was a kid who had a background in like opera singing, and I mean, I had done a little like, stuff just, being mentored by this mentor program called the Midnight Golf Program. And, they really taught us to be leaders inside of any space we went in. But I had no experience up to that point of really leading anything. So for me, it was very, very, it was honestly very, very scary. for
Oh
that to
yeah,
happen.
I can
It
imagine.
was very scary. And I was, like I said, I was looking at the news, right? What was going on in Cincinnati? Like you guys saw, what was going on in Cincinnati, what was going on in Toledo the day before, Detroit, like all these places around the country after
Yeah.
George Floyd was brutally murdered. And I'm like, bro, I don't want to get people like killed, bro. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to get people shot and stabbed, like all this stuff, like, bullets flying, throughout the protests. And like, that's
Mm-hmm.
not what I want to do. Like, I honestly just want to stand and hold space for George Floyd. Like, I want to honor that he did not deserve to die the way that he died, and that he was brutally murdered. And that's just the truth. And like, my heart was just broken because of that. And so anyway, like, I put out the protest. I put out the protest flyer. It blew up on Instagram. Next thing I know, I'm getting reached out to by like all these people from the university, from the city, and they're wanting to like connect and organize and all this stuff. And it was just a lot for me. Like, I was 21 at that time. I had no idea what I was doing. And so I remember I went there the day before the protest, and I actually prayed. Like, I prayed over the space. I prayed
Amen.
over the courthouse where we kind of first gathered.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I prayed before there. I prayed
Amen.
before that. Because like I said, I was getting nervous. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so I prayed, and the day came, and I remember like I barely slept that night, and then I just woke up the next day. And I went there, then again, not even expecting it to like blow up or anything like that, or for people to actually come. But I pulled up to the venue, and let me tell you, people like got out of like buses together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people were like carpooling to the protest,
Mm-hmm.
walking from the university, walking from the city, walking from churches, and from every which direction.
Yeah, I was about to say
There's
it was
police. It was
everywhere.
everywhere. So police were coming, like, city officials were there, and I'm like, yo, what am I going to say now? Like, I had not planned it. Like, mind you, I was an opera like major. Like, I was a
Yeah.
music major. I was in school to study to become a professional opera singer. Now I'm standing in front of 500 people,
Yeah.
like, that are angry, that are upset, rightfully so, at what happened to George Floyd. And so I honestly kind of just winged it, y'all. Like, if y'all were there, maybe y'all could have tell, maybe y'all couldn't tell, but I honestly just winged it, Nige. Like, I didn't know what to say. Like, I remember I had a friend, like, say just a poem, shout out Kendra. She did a great job,
Mm-hmm.
just sharing a poem. And then, like, I just said a piece, I guess I said a chant, maybe not, but somebody gave me somebody gave me a bullhorn.
Yes, I remember that. I was
Yeah,
there for that. Yeah.
somebody gave me a bullhorn, and we just like marched to Wooster Green, honestly. And
And Worcester Green
yeah,
became such a significant place for us.
yeah,
Like, little did we know that that
yeah,
would literally become like a place
yeah,
for Brave, a place where people literally come to every Juneteenth. Like that,
yeah,
it's. I'm telling you, like we were talking about this off air or however you want to say it,
yeah,
and we were just talking about how there's so many like full circle moments in
yeah.
lieu of our past 5
There's been
years.
so many.
It's so many. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. There's been so many, and like you said, no, we went to Wooster Green, which became like a significant place for us,
Mm-hmm.
and we kind of just opened up a space for people to just share their heart,
Yeah.
honestly, like to share like their experiences in Bowling Green, to share how these experiences have made them feel a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a tough space, like that. It was very, very tense there.
Yeah.
And so if you guys can just imagine, like, maybe you guys were there, or you experienced something similar to this, but it was basically like 500 people in like a park,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody is like lamenting with one another, but they're sharing these deep, rough things. Like, a lot of it involved like just these feelings of just being targeted by the police, followed by the police, at that time, like harassment, just by the hands of authorities, and all type of like settings.
Yeah.
And it broke my heart, like, to hear that. Not only did it shock me, but it broke my heart,
Mm-hmm.
to see that, and to be there. And I remember during that time, like when they were sharing all that, I had this moment where I was like, this can't be the end of this. Like,
Yeah.
there's too many people. I mean, how long were we there? Like when people were just sharing, it had to be
Ooh,
like 2 hours, right?
yeah, probably 3.
Yeah.
I mean, because we were there
Yeah.
because there was a lot of people that shared. I was, like I said,
Yeah.
I was one of the people that shared that day. I actually still have the recording. Somebody recorded me, or maybe, yeah, I don't know.
You
I
have
don't
the
know
record. I
how.
didn't know you had the
I
recording.
literally have a recording of
Yeah.
my speech, like standing up on the bench and talking. I think you might be in the frame, actually.
Wow.
So I'm gonna pull it up on my
You
phone
gotta
like
send that to
afterwards.
me. We gotta.
Yeah, I gotta
Yeah.
find it. But yeah, it was just.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, like, that day, to be fair, it was a culmination of just history. Like, this is not the first time that something like this has happened in our lifetime. I think the first time, as like when I could comprehend tension and racial tension, and what what a significant death, and especially from our community, looked like worldwide, was probably Trayvon Martin. That was for me. Like, I
Yeah.
remember watching everything,
Yeah.
watching riots, watching protests and stuff like that. And I was younger. I was like, I think that was
Yeah.
what was that, 2008 or
Yeah.
something. And so, yeah, like, I was still in high school at the time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was in high school. But as an adult, though, it's like, man, it's like this is something that's still happening even generations before. Like, our
Yeah.
grandparents can speak to this
Yeah.
type of tension. And so, yeah, I mean, where our hearts were broken. There was a lot of anger. There was a multitude of emotions, during that time, but rightfully so. And the thing is, like, it's like you're constantly asking yourself, when is it going to stop? Where do we go from here? What can we do? What haven't we done? That we've seen, I mean, the civil rights movement, that was how many years ago? And yet
Yeah.
we're still facing the same type of disparities. We're still facing
Yeah.
all of that. And so, yeah, I mean, it was a lot. And so I think that with Brave, in particular, uh, we just had that heart. We knew that we wanted to do more than just protest. We wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that we were opening up different channels, from employment opportunities to cultural competency. Like, we wanted to cross off many boxes because
Yeah.
we knew that the issue at hand, it wasn't just one thing. It's like widespread issues. And so we wanted to make sure that we were like trying to, help in every avenue, essentially,
Yeah.
that we could. And of course, you can't do everything.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the harsh realities that we had to face as an organization. And that was like a
Yeah.
part of the
It was
development.
heartbreaking.
Yeah. It's like,
Six.
we're like, man, like, we want to do this, we want to do that. But it's like, how do we do it? No, like, literally,
Yeah.
like you said, none of us had any type of expertise coming into this
Yeah.
with having the type of background in what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
All we literally had was our heart and a vision. And that was that. And I would like to think, because you were always more like the visionary person. I'm very pragmatic. So I'm usually like the no man, or whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it. I'm like, wait a minute, like, let's think about this. But you need both.
Yeah.
You need both. But I think that where we are specifically, like, even like after all of, the different transformations and all the seasons that we've had, I'm still pragmatic. You're still very,
Yeah.
like, you have a vision, which God gave you that. But I think that what we have now today, after all of that, is we have divinity, and we have a sense of direction that we didn't have before.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, what we've accomplished, it doesn't go in vain, right? Everything that we've accomplished, the name that we've made for ourselves, I mean, everyone knows, like, Brave, like, we are here for our community. We're here for people just in general.
Yeah.
Because we've managed to build so many different relationships and cultivated, quite the audience, essentially. But I think that where we are internally, and this is something that that eventually everyone is going to see, is
Yeah.
our individual journeys that we had. We
Yeah.
had to kind of take a step back from Brave a little bit, because sometimes you get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
And I
mean,
think
it's traumatic, right? I mean, so it's one thing, right, to see George Floyd, to see Trayvon Martin, to like observe these things happening in the community, and like experiencing the impact of that you have.
Right.
It's one thing to experience that. It's another thing to try to fight for justice. Like, when you're experiencing it and you're upset, and then you're mourning, right? But then when you take that mourning into action, like, I feel like it just turns into an entirely different thing, honestly. Which is fine, but I don't think we were ready for that, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
we were just a bunch of people who had like a passion for justice
Justice.
and a passion for like just not seeing people be treated unequally.
Mm-hmm.
But like, to turn that into, now we're organizing.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're an organization.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have to learn how to function together.
Yeah.
Now we have to learn how to actually be organized.
And we have
Which
to.
I was horrible. Which I was horrible at being organized, which is why I needed somebody pragmatic like you. And there were a couple of others. You know, a lot of us, you know, were dream based. But you know, one of the things, and shout out to Ray and from Freedom Block. He's doing awesome work down in Akron, Ohio.
Yeah.
One of the things that I had to realize was that before I could really help somebody else, I really had to be healed internally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if I was not healed and I was still bleeding all over the place, if I try to help someone, I'm eventually going to bleed on them. And I saw that happening over and over and over again, where the trauma that I didn't have processed will spill out into the organization, or will spill out into programs that we had and we tried to do, or will spill out in arguments, or will spill out in disagreements, or will spill out in anger. But that all came from like unhealed places in myself that I didn't even recognize that I had, you know. And I would say, like, in order to do social justice work, or to do any type of justice work on any field, you have to go through an extensive amount of healing. And you spoke on it briefly so often during our time with Brave, when we were helping people out, we were listening to concerns. We were there at Wooster Green and kind of hearing people were saying, and people kind of DM'd us. People reached out, like mothers, you know, from the city would reach out to us, and it always felt like, yeah, I want to fight for you, and I want to bring justice. Like, I want you to experience equality, not only equality, but equity, the E in our last name. I want you to experience that. But it always felt like I was leaving something out of that I wanted people to experience too as well. Like, my healing journey that I went on, I feel like not only allowed me to see the areas in the lives of others that that needed justice, and to see where there were like gaps of justice and gaps of equality, and there was disparities all over the place. Like Brave allowed me to see that too.
Oh yeah.
But it also allowed me to see, like, in my own life, in my own heart, in my own mind, like, I had things that I also had to process to be whole. Like, just like there's a disparity in like an organization, or a disparity in someone's understanding, like, there are disparities in my soul that I didn't have mended. There was trauma I did not process. And honestly, because of that, like, it made me, to a certain extent, ineffective leader at some points, right? Like, and just in me being transparent, like, I don't think I was as effective as a leader as I could have been. But it really wasn't until I went on the process and on my journey of actually healing inwardly, that I became the best leader, the best husband. At the time, was the best boyfriend, you know, to my now wife, the best friend that I could have been. You know, I had such a one-track mind with justice, but honestly, I had to allow myself to experience healing too as well. You know, and what that looked like was many things, right? What it looked like was I had to separate myself from some people. What it looked like was that, you know, counseling was a part of that. But honestly, like, the biggest the biggest contributor to my healing, the biggest contributor to my healing was me building an intimate and close relationship with Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like, it's even hard for me to say that because I know, like, we say the name Jesus Christ, and especially, like, you know, in a lot of like activist spaces, I know how that rings, and it just has such a negative kind of connotation because of how Christians have continually perpetuated white supremacy, have perpetuated racism, have perpetuated injustice. But in all honesty, the relationship that I built with God in a way had nothing to do with Christianity. I really felt like for the first time the past couple of years that I experienced Jesus Christ for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that was the best gift. For me, that was literally the complete fulfillment of justice.
Right.
That not only can I be liberated in the natural and the things that are going on around me, right?
Mm-hmm.
The injustices that are going on around me, but I can actually be healed now from anxiety, from depression. I mean, you know, even there were times the past 2 years, and I know you have your experiences, Nige, and I want you to share too. But the past couple of years, like, I went to the hospital, like, because I felt like I couldn't breathe, and they're like, "Oh no, you're fine." You know, just turned out I was anxious, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I sought therapy, and it did help to a certain extent, but there was just something that was intangible about me getting close to God. And when I felt that healing, when I felt that wholeness, Nija, I was like, I don't want to leave this out of what I do anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want people to just have a sense of justice, to just have a sense of healing, to just have a sense of wholeness. Like, I want them to experience the completeness of that. And
freedom.
And freedom.
Yeah.
And I believe that Jesus Christ offers that.
Mm-hmm.
He offers it all. Healing from depression, anxiety, like all these things that not only can we experience them externally, but we can experience them internally.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, and I don't say that to be cliche or to even be dismissive of, like, you know, the real anxiety or the real depression that people go through, and even therapy too as well. Because I believe God can also use, you know, doctors and therapists, you know, as a conduit of healing too as well. You know, but what I want to share is that, in all honesty, and just to share clearly, I have not been the same since I've grown closer to God. My life hasn't been the same. Like, my thoughts haven't been the same. My heart has not been the same. God has done an amazing inner working in me. And like I said before, that's now something that I don't want to leave that side of me out anymore. Like, I don't want to just show up partial to Juneteenth or to show up partial to Soul Speaking or these events that we do. I have this conviction that why can't I bring people the fullness of the healing that I experience? Because honestly, once I found out that I can be healed and completely, if I leave that out, I now feel like I'm unjust.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm withholding something from other people. And in my heart, I can't do that.